Everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is June 9th, 2026, and the interim Barcelona president Rafa Yuste has announced legal actions against Real Madrid. Also, Real Madrid announced that they have launched a €150 million bid for Julian Alvarez. And finally, Barcelona tracking an American center back. I'm going to tell you who it is. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Bo. We'll begin this video with the bombshell news because the Barcelona interim president Rafa Yuste has announced legal action against Real Madrid. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, because you just joined the channel or you've been living under a rock, just kidding. The Real Madrid president Florentino Perez, I think it was 2 or maybe 3 weeks ago, had a meeting with his board of directors after ending yet another season trophyless. And after that meeting with his board of directors, he held a press conference where he announced a new elections and also where he went on an unhinged rant accusing, of course, Barcelona of bribing referees, accusing referees of, getting rich off Barcelona, bribing them, and saying that Real Madrid had won 7 La Liga titles under his presidency, and that they could have won 7 other more La Liga titles, but they were all stolen from him by these referees who were bribed by Barcelona. Of course, these statements ended up or resulted in 2 lawsuits by the referees against Real Madrid and Florentino Perez. And now Rafa Yuste, the interim president of Barcelona, announcing that Barcelona are launching legal actions against this unhinged, decrepit old man. Now, this is what Rafa Yuste had to say. He stated they can't stomach all the titles from 600 kilometers away. There's a difference between jealousy and rage. I already told you when the Real Madrid president, in a disgraceful press conference, which I found shameful, accused us of buying the leagues, of winning them thanks to the referees, as if linesmen scored goals. He said things like, Negreira, do you really think all the titles were like that? The thing is that man can't accept what we are doing. And Rafa Yuste continued saying, our legal department has prepared the legal actions we will take against Real Madrid and against their president. He has resorted to slander to destabilize us. We will meet in court. Very important there. We will meet in court. No one will tarnish the name of Barca. This badge will take care of us. We will go after them because we have the upper hand. Do you really think they can threaten us by saying they've sent 500 pages? You will see. So Rafa Yuste announcing that the Barcelona legal department has officially prepared a lawsuit against Real Madrid and Florentino Perez for defamation because, of course, as we know, there has been no proof whatsoever that Barcelona have bribed any referees or influenced the competition. The Treasury, who opened an investigation, have already closed their investigation, citing that there's no evidence of any wrongdoing. The prosecutor's office still have an open investigation. That investigation has been going on for more than 3 years, and they've also found no evidence. So, of course, there's no evidence of any wrongdoing yet. That didn't stop Florentino Perez of accusing Barcelona of bribing refs. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called defamation. You cannot go around accusing people of things without any kind of evidence. So that, of course, has legal repercussions. And now Rafa Yuste announcing a lawsuit against Real Madrid, which, of course, I applaud Rafa Yuste, I applaud Barcelona, I applaud their legal department for doing this, because people need to learn a basic life lesson that actions have consequences. And you can't go around just accusing people of things without any shred of evidence. And when you do, there are consequences to that. There are legal consequences to that. And while this will be an important lesson for Florentino Perez, who at 100 years old should have already learned this lesson back when he was a kid, but apparently his parents failed him, never taught him that lesson. And while he's now about to learn that lesson the hard way, because ladies and gentlemen, that's how life works. If you don't learn the lesson the easy way, well, life is gonna make sure that you learn it the hard way. And well, Florentino Perez is about to learn it the hard way. Now, speaking of Real penalties, that pathetic, small minded club that will not accept they're a piece of shit club. So instead, they keep making up excuses like the refs, like Negreira. They have announced through their official channels that they have launched a 150 million euro bid for Julian Alvarez. Now, as I mentioned a few moments ago, Florentino Perez, after going on that unhinged rant, he announced elections. During those elections, he announced that he will be making a 150 million euro offer for a Galactico or for like a big star. He didn't say who it was. And of course, there was a lot of speculation. Some people said it was Michael Olise. Some people said it was Joao Neves. Some people said it was Vitinha. All those were completely ruled out by their current clubs, PSG, and of course Bayern Munich. And then yesterday we talked about how a reporter in Germany said that it was Julian Alvarez that Real Madrid were looking to make an offer for Julian Alvarez. Now Florentino Perez has won re-election, and well, he decided that he was gonna put these rumors to rest, that he was gonna finally announce who he was talking about during the election season, and that he mentioned through the official channels of the Real Madrid that Real Madrid had offered a 150 million euro offer for Julian Alvarez, and that offer was immediately rejected by Atletico Madrid, citing, of course, the player's release clause worth 500 million euros. Now, of course, this news made all kinds of rounds in social media and on the press with people saying, oh no, Real Madrid are looking to steal this signing away from Barcelona. But honestly, looking at all the facts, and this is not news, this is just my opinion, I truly think this was nothing more than a publicity stunt, than a PR stunt that was agreed upon between Real Madrid and Atletico de Madrid. Because think about it. Now, if you look at the statement, Real Madrid said they had made an offer to Atletico Madrid, and based on the good relationship between both clubs, Atletico Madrid then rejected that offer. Now, here's the thing: a good relationship. What good relationship? These two clubs have hated each other for as long as they've existed. So that statement is full of shit. But more importantly, who is to benefit from this announcement? Well, Real Madrid benefits because Florentino Perez, literally his only campaign promise was that he was gonna make a 150 million euro offer for a Galactico or a star. So by announcing that they have made an offer for Julian Alvarez, there you go. He fulfills that campaign promise. And of course, Atletico benefit because now they can go to Barca and say, look, well, Real Madrid offered me 150 and I said no. So you need to offer me more. So I think this is nothing more than a pathetic publicity stunt between Real penalties and Atletico Madrid agreeing to this, because let's not forget, Atletico Madrid have not even responded to Barcelona's 90 plus 10 million euro offer. So why is it that they did respond to Real Madrid's 150 million euro offer? Again, none of this makes sense. This is clearly a pathetic attempt by two small clubs, by two pathetic clubs, by two piece of shit clubs, two clubs that have won nothing these last few years, to just, look good. But in reality, we're not impressed. We all know that they are full of shit. Now, Barcelona are reportedly not worried about this. They're not going to enter into any bidding wars. They have made that offer, 90 million euros fixed plus 10 million euros in variables for Julián. They're not going to make any higher offers until Atletico respond. If Atletico do reject that offer, Barcelona are willing to offer up to 120 million euros. But that's it. They're not willing to throw the club out the window, ruin the club, or risk the club for Julián, even though he is Barcelona's number one option. which of course I think that is good news. I think that puts me a little bit at comfort because I think we should have learned a lesson from Coutinho, Griezmann, Dembele that we should always have a specific budget for a player, a max that we were willing to pay for a player. And if we can get that player for under that max, great. And if not, we should move on. We should not be looking to offer more and more and more and more and more until we get that player. So I'm glad that Barcelona are setting the limit 120 million for Julian. If we can get him for that, great. If not, then we shouldn't. But honestly, I would prefer that Barcelona don't even go up to 120 million euros. I don't think Julian Alvarez is worth 120 million euros. I think 90 plus 10 is good enough for me. If I was Barca, again, Barca already made that offer. I would call Atletico and say, look, this is our first and last offer. If you want to accept it, great. I'm going to take a big problem off your hand. The problem being, of course, that Julian doesn't want to be there, doesn't believe in their project, wants to leave, and wants to leave to Barca only. And if you don't, then fuck it. Fuck you. You're the one with the problem. And this is where Barcelona need to be smart about this thing. Atletico are the ones with the problem. We're not. We don't have a problem on our hands. They do. They have a player who doesn't believe in their project, a player who wants to leave, and a player who wants to leave and only to Barcelona. Fuck them. We're doing them a favor. If they don't want to accept 100 million euros, here you go. Fuck you. You can keep that guy. And that's why Barcelona needs to be smart. So I'm glad that Barcelona are not willing to enter into bidding wars. But honestly, I disagree with Barcelona willing to go all the way up to 120. I wouldn't go up another euro. I would make this my first and final offer. If you want to accept it, great. If not, there's more players in the market. We'll go get someone else. You can deal with your problem. Anyways, on to the next bit of news because, ladies and gentlemen, the club currently caught by surprise because of Bernardo Silva's statements. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's recap real quick. Bernardo Silva's contract expires with Manchester City at the end of this month on June 30th. He will become a free agent. He's offered himself to Barcelona time and time again. Deco brought this up to Hansi Flick, and Hansi Flick greenlit this operation, said, okay, fine, you can bring him. However, Hansi Flick first wants an exit before Bernardo Silva's signing is completed. Now, who can exit in order to make space for Bernardo Silva? It could be Rooney Bardghji, who Flick already met with him and told him he doesn't count on him. Or it could be Marc Casado, who hasn't been getting any minutes. Now, Bernardo Silva was looking to finalize his future before the World Cup begins, but of course, knowing that Barcelona first need to offload a player before signing him, he has decided now that he can wait after the World Cup. But then during a friendly match between Portugal and Chile, or after that friendly match, Bernardo Silva was asked about Barcelona's interest. And well, this is what the Portuguese midfielder had to say, which of course caught Barcelona by surprise. Now, we did review these statements previously, but Bernardo Silva said, Barca, it's an option. But I haven't made a decision yet. The truth is I have many options, and I'm not going to talk about a specific club if I haven't made a decision and haven't signed with that club. I'm going to try to be on a team where I'm wanted, where I feel truly wanted. That's very important to me. And of course, when I reviewed these statements in a previous video, I said, I'm not too worried about the first two paragraphs. He's saying, he has a lot of options. He hasn't made a decision. He will let people know when he's made a decision. These are very typical statements by any player who is not officially signed to a new club. But I said, I'm a little bit worried about the final paragraph where he says he wants to go to a club where he feels like he's loved. And I said, that doesn't sound like a club like Barca because, of course, at Barca, he's just going to be another player who has to compete for his spot, right? And he has a lot of players to compete with. Pedri, Bernal, Frankie, Olmo, Fermin, Gabi, etc., etc. And on the right wing, he has to compete with the best player in the world, Lamine Yamal, as opposed to Atletico Madrid, where they're guaranteeing him a starting spot, they're guaranteeing him being important, they're guaranteeing him being a key. So I said I'm a little bit worried about that final paragraph, not about the first two paragraphs. And while lo and behold, it stated that Barcelona were also caught off guard because Barcelona have actually reached an agreement with Bernardo Silva to join the club. And so they were surprised when he said, Barca is just an option. I'm still considering my options. So Barca were like, what the hell? I thought we had reached an agreement that he's gonna join Barca once someone leaves. So what is going on here? Now, despite that, Barcelona are still not worried because, yeah, they do have an agreement in place for Bernardo to join. Yeah, Flick has okayed the signing, but at the end of the day, look, Bernardo Silva is not a necessity. Would it be nice if Bernardo Silva comes to Barca? Absolutely. Do we need him? Fuck no. Far away from that. We have a million midfielders. There's no need for Bernardo Silva. We've already won plenty of trophies without him. We're going to continue winning plenty of trophies without him as well. So Barcelona, even though they were caught off guard by these statements, not worried at all. If Bernardo Silva wants to come once someone leaves, welcome. If he doesn't, well, here you go. We don't really care. It's not like we need him. So that's Barcelona's position, and I wholeheartedly agree because, like I said, if Bernardo wants to come, great. If not, bro, you're the one who's losing out, not us. We've won trophies without you. We're going to continue winning trophies without you. So if you want to keep making stupid statements, go for it. Anyways, let's end today's video with the news that Barcelona are currently tracking an American center back with the possibility of signing him this summer or maybe the next one. Now, the center back that I'm talking about is no other than Neil Pierre. He is an American center back, 18 years old, incredibly tall, almost 2 meters tall. I think he's 197 centimeters. He came up through Philadelphia Union. He's currently on loan to Lyngby in Denmark. If you're wondering, Mo, I think I've heard this name Lyngby before. That's because that's the club who are currently negotiating with Barcelona for a possible loan for Diego Cochen. Remember Diego Cochen, American goalkeeper who has come up through La Masia, one of the most promising goalkeepers currently in Barcelona. However, he hasn't been getting minutes, so Barcelona looking to send him to Lyngby in Denmark. Lyngby is a team that just earned their promotion to first division of Danish football. So, well, Neil Pierre is currently on loan to Lyngby, again, the club who is looking to sign Diego Cochen on loan. Now, the funny thing, more coincidences here. Neil Pierre and Diego Cochen have both played on the U.S. under-19 national team. So they have both shared a locker room, and now they can both end up on the same team, Lyngby in Denmark, on loan together. So that will be a pretty cool coincidence. Now, Neil Pierre, despite his huge size, again, almost 2 meters tall, he is known for his technical abilities and being able to build up from the back. So Barcelona are very interested in him. So this would not, of course, be a signing that Barcelona would bring so he can start right next to Cubarsí or Gerard Martin. This would be more like a promising player that Barcelona could bring to the academy so he can grow, develop, and maybe one day make it to the first team. And if not, they can always sell him for profit, which I think this is, a great strategy by Barcelona. As I always say, these are the kind of signings we need to make. Young, promising players who cost very little. That way, if you sign them and they end up being a big star, amazing. You just sign a big star for almost nothing. And if they don't work out, who cares? You spent very little money on them. You can always sell them for profit and use that profit towards a big signing, right? Not every single signing can be a big name. We can do this, sign 10, 20, 30, 40 young players who, for very little, if some of them make it to the first team, great. You have first team players for nothing. And if they don't, you could sell them for profit and then use that profit to fund the signing of a big name. But Neil Pierre, currently on Barcelona's radar, we'll see whether this turns into an actual signing, whether Barcelona just continue tracking him from far away. Anyways, that is all the news for this live. I am going to go to sleep now. It's 1 a.m. here in Argentina. I got to work in a few hours. It was a pleasure bringing you the Barcelona news. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, peace, guys.